actual show.
I can't believe I thought there was a need for a topic of the show today. Hello and welcome to another episode of Hit the Books Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Holcomb.
I'm Emery Saunders.
And I'm Nick Marlatt.
And we're here to bring you all the nerdy news you need to know about this week from Hit the Books Podcast.
That is where they find this.
Great! Well, welcome. If you have not watched the show before, we go through the latest news and occasionally go through a topic of the show. This week is a light news week, of course, so might have a good topic of the show for you today. We'll see.
We might.
See how long we ramble first.
We love a good rant.
Yeah, we have a knack for those.
No corrections for last week, but I did notice in reviewing the footage on the edit that in the background of Zuckerberg's metaverse promotional video, he has a bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's holding up his books on his bookshelf. Does anybody else think that's weird?
Of all the things he could have used,
I mean,
Barbecue sauce?
I love me some Sweet Baby Ray's, but it's got to be refrigerated after opening.
what kind of life do you have to lead where, for propping up your books, a bottle of barbecue sauce is all you have on hand?
This is also the same guy that live streamed himself smoking meat a couple years ago, if you remember that.
Is that a thing?
You did?
No,
You
I'm
never
not
saw
aware.
that?
The only thing I know about Zuckerberg is his weird water drinking that makes him look like an alien.
Yeah, he did a live stream where he was literally sitting next to a smoker. They Shmoyoho songified it into
Of course they
a
did.
thing about
Of
him
course they
smoking.
did.
My God.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
This man is an alien.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
We need someone to confirm exactly what type of meat he was smoking.
I'm sure he's a very nice fellow, but he's a strange dude. There's no getting around it. A very wealthy, strange dude.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Anyway, what have you guys been up to? Reading, listening to, watching, playing?
Lately, haven't really been reading much, although I hear there's a lot of news out and about in terms of comics with Marvel in particular.
And what would that be?
They appear to be on their second Hellfire Gala, or Gala, however you pronounce that.
Their
Hellfire
gala. Welcome to our gala.
I don't know why these writers have an obsession with trying to insert things from like Hollywood elite culture into these comic books. Like, do we really need like an active fashion show?
I feel like it's just an excuse to make more variant covers.
For an X-Men comic
Probably it.
book?
Yeah, I don't.
We've already gotten so far into the weeds that we've just stopped asking why they've turned them all into pod people.
Well, if you watched our last episode about the metaverse, we will all be pod people. Very
no.
It'd be like Wall-E.
Guys, you gotta not do it. Do not touch grass. Go outside and touch grass
Touch
right
grass.
now.
You just told them to go smoke a bunch of weed.
No, hey. I didn't tell him to go smoke it. I told him to touch it.
Oh, yes. Big difference there.
Fair enough.
My bad.
But yeah, apart from hearing about some news in terms of Marvel comics, I lately picked up a game from my PlayStation Premium Plus account.
Still going well?
So far.
Great.
I picked up the game Pathfinder Kingmaker, which for anyone who's
based on Pathfinder,
it's
The
actually
TTRPG.
Yeah, it is actually based on Pathfinder, and my God, does it show? There's
That doesn't sound like praise.
okay. Pathfinder was really good for people who preferred D&D like 3.5, which was like the good part, and we don't talk about 4th edition. This game, oh my god, this game. If I could tell you how long it takes to go through battle because the game actually likes to simulate rolling the dice for every attack, good god.
Are you talking about the actual video game?
I'm talking about the actual video game.
Fantastic.
That's annoying.
It was
Makes
like,
Neverwinter Nights look like it's fast-paced.
oh my god. When you make Neverwinter Nights look fast,
It's not a
speed it up.
that's not a dog on Neverwinter Nights. I loved Neverwinter Nights, but oh my god, yeah, it was anything but fast-paced.
Yeah, it was like that game, while fun and amusing, is still kind of a slog. Pathfinder Kingmaker is a slog to the nth degree. Now, mind you, I should preface this by saying I play that game on turn-based mode. Real-time strategy mode thing, I still can't manage to make heads or tails of how to maneuver everyone without just turning them all into AI. It's like I downloaded this game from PlayStation Plus Premium with the intent to play a game and not to either take forever to play it myself, to have to choose between taking forever or actually playing it, and it going fast-paced, but basically watch the game play itself. It's
Always entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of I got some kind of Hasbro game set, had like Monopoly and like Battleship and stuff like that on it. And the only problem I have with the game is that it, like you said, it forces you to actually roll the dice and watch the die roll on the digital board and stop on the digital board. Like, just let me press a button and just get to the number.
I watched what is it? Rooster Teeth play that like back in the day. I remember watching their Let's Play channel, and they're playing Hasbro's like the Hasbro collection, and they're
Oh
like
my
sitting there, and
God.
you're actually watching the dice roll across the Monopoly
Yeah.
board and shit. It's like
It just-
Jesus Christ.
It's
this is-
unnecessarily tedious.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like the animations are fun the first 2 or 3 times you watch
Yeah.
them. After that, you're good. You don't need that for like a 4-hour Monopoly game. Yeah.
It just feels like trying to trick people into saying, hey, this takes too long. I should just
Go
buy the
Monopoly.
physical game and play it for real.
Yeah, it really wasn't much faster. So, entertaining, but
Yeah.
definitely not the best execution.
But yeah, that's what I was doing.
Great.
Fantastic.
How about you, Nick?
I've been elbow deep into building an entire world and campaign setting for our D&D game that we're starting this week. So that's pretty much taken over all of my free time, save for the fact that 2 of my kids had birthdays this week. So there was that too. Besides that, yeah, world building, quest building, figuring out what the fuck I'm going to do to these guys.
And you guys are starting next weekend? Is that
Now we're
correct?
starting on Tuesday.
Tuesday. All right, coming up real soon. And,
Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
and where can the people watch this? Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Twitch.tv/those natural ones. It'll also be uploaded onto our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/
It's in the works.
Yeah. One day we'll get the name like directly on the YouTube
yeah,
channel.
it'll
but
yeah.
yeah.
For now, the best bet is to go to either our twitch.tv/those natural ones or facebook.com/those natural ones and click the link for YouTube, because that's the best way
Yes.
to get there.
yes, click the link or just type those natural ones into the search bar.
And then
Yeah.
scroll down 3 pages, and I'm sure you'll find it at some point.
And of course, we will promote you and your D&D campaign.
Absolutely.
Where can you find this stuff? Oh, I'm glad you asked, Emery.
Oh.
You can find it on htbvids.com, where I'll post a link. You can find it on our Twitter page at htbvids. You can find it on Facebook /HitTheBooks. You can find it on our YouTube channel, Hit the Books Videos. I think that's everything that's worthwhile.
It's a good thing I asked that question.
Yeah, I know. I love your foresight, Emery. I really appreciate you. Perfect. So I really haven't done anything in the nerd realm myself this week, just because I had a wedding last week for my brother. Congratulations, Dan and Yuan. And then I basically spent the week fighting my editing software because Filmora Pro, which is what I ran away from Adobe with, decided to stop supporting Filmora Pro literally 2 days after I re-upped it. And so,
Fantastic.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
horrible. And so basically, I was left in this situation where I have this unsupported software that I just shelled out over $100 for to have permanently, only for it not to be supported and to lose like all of the product
Functionality.
libraries that
Yeah.
are crucial to using said product.
Right.
So I had to give up on that, and then basically got myself a refund and had to swallow my pride and go back to the devil.
Came crawling back.
And once
Hey,
again,
now.
I had to subscribe
There's
to
a reason.
Adobe Premiere Pro.
There is a reason why they've been #1 for well over 20 years.
It's annoying. It's quite frank. There are alternatives, but they all suck.
And-
Or they have adopted their terrible subscription.
Yeah, they're basically the
pricing.
same reskinned. Let's copy Adobe
Yeah.
as well as we can and not get sued.
It's
Yeah.
frustrating. It's very frustrating. So we're back on Adobe, but I will give Adobe credit. They make a good product. It works, and I was able to get the editing done in like 4 hours, which Filmora Pro was taking me like 10
Oof.
total hours, just because of how many things were missing. So you should see a stark increase in quality on the last episode. A lot more motion videos and much smoother edits in that video, and it was so much easier. So I guess I'm stuck with Adobe and Adobe Premiere for a while. We'll see if that lasts, but yeah, I have issues with Adobe. They know it. We both know it. But
Like going
we
back
stay
into
together for the kids.
like going back to a relationship where you know there's problems, but no one else does you right.
Yep, it's true. At the end of the day, she's still there
Waiting. Because she
with
knew.
all the lights off,
Jesus.
wondering why I was out with my friends tonight.
This analogy's gone a little too far at this point. We're going into Saturday Night Live territory where you just keep beating the dead horse until nobody cares anymore.
I'm just gonna wear like an Adobe Premiere like icon over my face and just. So where were you tonight?
Flirting with Filmora. Okay, is that what you want to hear?
I knew you'd come back.
You need me. Yeah, so no big updates there. Just really, things should be much smoother from now on, thankfully. But I had to pay for it, and I hate it.
Ouch.
Ouch. Yes, ouch. All right, well, without further ado, let's hop into the news. First up, Skate 4 has been officially renamed Skate with a lowercase s, and will be now a free-to-play game instead of a standalone purchasable premium game.
I have.
Yay?
I have opinions about this. The primary opinion that I have about this being, okay, it's a skating game. We know that all we're doing is reskinning and maybe adding a couple maps here and there for people to keep coming back to this game. Okay, sure. Realizing that, I can see why you would make it free to play. The long-running joke with free-to-play games is, oh, like, how much you spend on that game? I didn't spend anything. It's free.
Yeah.
Okay, how much money have you put into the game?
Yep.
I've put $500.
Oh, you want that hoodie?
Oh,
You want to buy that deck?
I bet you it's going to be even more granular than that. It's going to be like, oh, here's a tag.
Yeah.
Here's
a sticker for you. Yeah.
$10.
You want some pink grip tape?
Oh no!
Yeah. It's ridiculous. I
Like,
don't,
oh, you want new trucks and wheels?
Yeah.
it's frustrating.
Oh,
'Cause-
wait, you got to buy the bearings too.
Son
Yeah.
of a.
And I'm also annoyed that the industry term for a game you purchase now is just premium.
Yeah.
There's- it's not even like the standard anymore. It's
It's a premium game. I spent fucking money on this to play this fucking game.
what? It's okay.
Or
Jesus
you
fucking Christ.
get this game
Yeah.
for free, and then you have to pay out your ass for the rest of your life to continue to play this game.
Yeah, and everything's gonna be, restrained by time and
You can
other factors, and you'll have to purchase A, B, and C to progress at a reasonable pace that makes you enjoy the game in the first fucking place.
I don't
Uh,
mind games making you buy shit that has no impact on the gameplay. Like, all right, Skate, you wanna buy a Thrasher T-shirt? Okay, fine. Here's 50 cents for this Thrasher T-shirt for your character to wear. It's when you cannot play the game unless you spend the money that it pisses me off.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Well-
if they make you buy like moves.
Yeah, like
Oh.
Well, the thing is, this is my least appreciated part of free-to-play infrastructure, is that it removes one of the core incentives to play and enjoy a game, which is unlocking stuff.
yes.
The whole point of playing a skating game generally is to do all these tricks and find all these secret items and whatever else. I'm using Tony Hawk's Pro Skater as context because I never played Skate, but
yeah.
I assume it's a similar concept. And then you unlock, playable characters. You unlock different decks.
New maps.
Exactly. So if you remove that factor and replace it with free-to-play purchases,
Yeah.
what's the fucking point of the game? Like, and this is what I hate about all free-to-play games: is it removes the incentive to work at the game and become proficient at the game to unlock shit and enjoy the game.
We're so old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if there's no progression or things to earn, you have made this game disposable.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, let me skate for a few minutes while I'm on the fucking toilet.
So anyway, I just think the free-to-play infrastructure is just, I don't know. I don't know how you fix that problem because it's.
You don't at this point.
I mean-
unfortunately, it's the norm.
Yeah, companies are digging in their heels on how to maximize profit.
Yeah.
And a-
Corporate greed.
And apparently, having people only pay for the game once is just not doing it for them anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, in all fairness, they spend a shit ton of money developing these games.
They do. And, what worked for the first, half a century of video games? Selling them.
Yeah.
That's how you made up the money from making the game.
Yeah,
You
but
sold the
it's-
fucking game.
I agree, but playing devil's advocate here.
How dare you?
That's what we do on this show. We are the devil's advocate, the show.
You're not wrong.
Mediocre. So,
Make your case, Satan.
well, first we have to have a boxing match, but that's beside the point.
Jesus.
Please.
Exactly.
Please. Watch our last show to get that reference.
But anyway, the reason I would push back a little bit on that is that the cost of a modern video game, even adjusting for inflation, is thousands of times more than it was in, say, the 80s.
I'll
when you're-
agree with you.
When you're
100%.
developing 8-bit video games with extremely simple music programs and, kilobytes of
Yeah.
code,
Right. They do keep hiking up the prices.
Yeah, it's not like one person can develop this massive AAA game
True.
anymore by himself or with a studio of 2 or 3 people. It requires thousands of employees.
Right.
you
No,
know.
I completely agree with that statement. However, again, sell the fucking game, and that'll come up with quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's always like the weird discussion where, one party's like, well, if they have to sell the game, they can't keep it at the same price.
That's fine.
Okay.
when we were kids, when Back in my day, you know, when we were, I remember when I was like a kid, going to the fucking store. This was like the end of, you know, Atari. I'm pretty sure it was like a 5200. It wasn't even the 2600. It was like the 5200 or whatever.
Yeah.
Going to the dollar store and buying fucking cartridges for $1. Then fast forward to NES. It was like 20 bucks, something like that. Then fast forward to, you know, Xbox, 40, 50 bucks. Now, or at least back before that, when they actually sold fucking games,
Yeah.
$60. Games go up. Yeah, I would rather spend $100 on a game and never have to make a fucking microtransaction,
Yeah.
as
just
opposed
have-
to just getting a game for free and then having to spend $5 here, $10 here, fucking $2 here,
Yeah.
$20 here.
I agree.
Being nickeled and dimed to death.
Yeah.
And I get it. If you take the perspective of, say, you know, some kid or some teenager that doesn't have his own income
Right.
being generated, and his parents, you know, don't have the money for $100 game, you know, he's or she is probably playing, you know, free to play games primarily,
Right.
and just milking it for every ounce it's worth, you know, to keep
Right.
the cost down.
And this
you
is
know?
coming from somebody who's, over the course of my life, spent thousands, tens of thousands of dollars probably on MMO subscriptions.
Yeah.
I spent the majority of my teens and early to mid 20s, possibly even into the late 20s, spending at least $15 a month on at least one MMO subscription. So I'm even okay with that. It's the first taste for free is the bullshit that I don't like. You know,
Yeah.
Right.
the
It's like
free sample. Oh wait, now you're hooked on this game. Well, now you got to buy this pack and you got to get this loot box and you got to get this
Yeah.
shit.
or they hook you with the fucking premium in-game currency where like, oh, you start with this much, but all of the shit that you actually want is like outside of the range of what you're starting with, so you gotta put a little bit in, and they never actually give you like a like 1-to-1 scale of
Oh,
you
no.
pay this much for this much premium credit to get the thing that you want. It's always a little more, a little less, so that way they keep making you spend money.
My daughter, she plays Roblox,
Oh no.
and the Robux that you have to buy. So for, I forget what it was. I think it was like Easter or something like that. Roblox gift card, like a $10 Robux gift card. So she goes in, it gives her like, I don't remember what the exchange rate is, like 1,000 Robux or whatever it is. She gets the game. There was one game she wanted to get that was like 9,000 Robux or like just under the point. Well, guess what? They don't add it. They didn't add tax. So then you hit tax, and it's like it equates to $10 and like 52 cents. But you can't just add 52 cents. You have to add another $10 to get over that, just to get that one thing.
Really frustrating. A lot of companies do that. Not even
Yep.
in the video games. Like PlayStation Network used to do that shit, and it drove me fucking crazy. Because like you'd go to the checkout, it'd be like, oh, you're $2 short on your PSN account. Well, fuck. All right, I'll add some money. Well, you gotta add $10. Oh,
Yeah, minimum of $10. It's like literally I need 54
and
cents.
you couldn't add like the exact amount, so you would always have that remaining balance stuck on your PSN account, just annoying you.
Oh yeah, back in the
'Cause
PS3
it's never
days.
zero.
Yeah.
You'd have like $2.14 left in your account. You couldn't fucking do anything with it except buy like profile pictures or something.
Yeah, I don't think they fixed that until like PS4, like right
Yeah,
before that.
it wasn't that long ago. It was
Yeah.
up until very recently, maybe a year or two ago.
Yeah, that was.
It was very frustrating. Yeah, it's predatory. It's not particularly enjoyable, and my biggest problem is that it just messes with the quality of the actual product and the actual game.
It's anti-consumer. That's the issue at large.
Moving on. Next topic, San Diego Comic-Con has actually returned this year post-COVID, and it will be next weekend, July 21st to July 24th. So, for any of you that have missed the reveals and the various things that come out of San Diego Comic-Con, which is probably the biggest and most iconic Comic-Con, internationally
yeah.
speaking.
Yeah, the Hall H. Everyone just wants to see what the hell Marvel reveals in Hall H.
Yep. So this always yields a bunch of new announcements, new timelines, new discussions, new panels, surprise guests, etc. I thought for the return of San Diego Comic-Con and in celebration of this, maybe we could propose some of the things we would like to see at San Diego Comic-Con or emerge from San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh. I'll go ahead and start. So this is called San Diego Comic-Con, right?
Typically, yes.
Yeah. Can we... I don't know. This is a little wild. Promote comics? I know
No.
we're really hyped with the whole, like, hey, all of these comics are turning into movies and TV
It's
shows.
comic
which is really,
related things
it's
now.
comic related. Oh my god, guys!
It's a theme, Emery.
Guys.
It's a theme.
You just hear me out.
If you want your nerds
Hey,
getting these comic artists and writers getting their autographs and dressing up in their cosplay,
I swear to God.
you can go to your peasant cons
Oh,
throughout the Midwest.
okay. You listen here.
Sorry, I was still in Satan mode.
Oh, you son of a bitch. If we're going to bring back San Diego Comic-Con, I think it would behoove these companies to start promoting the source material that they keep pulling from, or not pulling from in some cases, so that people can get into what got these movies and TV shows going in the first place.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
So I'm trying to look up and see what all they have in the agenda, but of course doesn't look like they have a lot yet.
Yeah,
So-
you can find stuff if you really dig, but their website is terrible. I was
Yeah,
trying
their-
to find like all the panels and all the
Their website is garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it doesn't help that admission is probably an actual arm and a leg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And keep in mind, they're still in California, which still has a lot of COVID precautions and standards
God.
in place. LA in particular, but
That's a whole nother layer to this whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this is what would have been called a year or two ago a potential super spreader event.
so you went over what you would like the comic convention to focus on.
Right.
What announcements would you like to see?
What announcements would I like to see? Hell, to double down, it would be nice for them to announce that they're going to focus more on comics. But being
That's not
realistic,
gonna happen.
it's-
They're trying to kill the comic industry
yeah,
as much as they can.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It really is.
There's one publisher right now. It's not good.
It's really not. Okay, things that I would like to see or hear announced. Well, I'm just gonna start with Hall H. We gotta see what the hell is going on with the rest of Phase 4 and what the beginning of Phase 5 is gonna look like. We gotta.
I mean,
we gotta
what's
hear something.
left of Phase 4? It's just Black Panther 2, right?
There's Black Panther 2. There's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Yeah.
And trying to think if there's anything else. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's supposed to be a Fantastic Four movie that completes Phase 4.
Was that Phase 4 or was that Phase 5?
I'm not sure. See, that's what we
Yeah.
need clarification on.
And there's
What fucking phase is the Fantastic Four going to show up?
I'll tell you in a second. Hold
Because that's...
Yeah, and there's already rumors that the Fantastic Four character they already casted. I mean, I guess
They're-
I don't
they-
know if I should talk about spoilers yet, but apparently he's not going to be
If
the
they're not...
Mr. Fantastic,
yeah,
which I'm kind of okay with.
All right, so
I know that's
See,
just me.
actually, you were right. Fantastic Four is supposed to be. That's supposed to come out next year. There's no fucking way that's coming out next
Oh,
year.
absolutely not.
We've said that a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if they pull it out their ass.
The Marvels too. Don't forget
Oh,
about
yeah, the Marvels.
and
Okay.
Blade, and
Oh, I forgot about Blade.
and Guardians.
Blade?
Guardians
Blade?
3. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Okay, so how many is that's supposed to come out next year?
So this year we just released Thor. We July. Okay, this is old because it says July 8th. Black Panther 2 is supposed to come out.
Oh, yeah, I know at least a couple of things got moved from that one.
Okay, this is a newer one. So Marvel Phase 4 was Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Spider-Man, Multiverse of Madness, Thor. Then we have Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, The Marvels, Quantum Mania, Guardians Volume 3, and it's still saying the Fantastic Four.
Okay.
It does not have a date for it, though.
There's more than I remembered.
Yes.
Gotta be honest.
Yeah.
I was thinking that Phase 4 was 90% the television shows, which I guess they still technically are.
Up to this point, they have.
But
yeah.
I didn't think
Yeah.
that there was that many movies.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that confirming that they're all going to be movies, or is it just saying
Those are the
those
movies.
the
Those are
project- okay.
because it does. This does not include any. This list that I'm looking at does not include any of the actual television
Okay.
shows.
That's pretty
television shows. This is the
Yeah.
fucking 90s.
Streaming
again.
shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Your
old man is showing.
it's, Disney Plus shows.
I will be very shocked if we see Fantastic Four next year. I will be extremely shocked if we see Fantastic Four next year.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that this upcoming Hall H is going to at least announce who the fuck is gonna be in the movie.
Yeah.
Because, it's already been basically said that, hey, we did the... spoiler
For
for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Which I would assume everybody who's listening or watching this has already seen that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Spoiler, John Krasinski played Reed Richards.
and he did a fantastic job.
He did a fantastic job
fine.
for all of about a few minutes.
I mean, yeah, but
Yeah.
I
I like John
Yeah.
Krasinski. I'm probably the minority on this, but I don't buy him as Mr. Fantastic Reed Richards at all.
I think he did a fantastic job.
He's
I
still
think he
the dope from The Office to me.
I get that, but then
Yeah.
again, I know. I never watched The Office. I'll say.
So,
I-
so you have a clean slate.
That
for him.
explains a lot.
I mean, I've seen The Office. I've seen him in The Office.
Yeah.
I didn't religiously watch The Office. I don't know why. Just never. I like The Office. I think it's funny. I just
Yeah.
never sat down and watched it.
Yeah.
However, I think John Krasinski did a fantastic job in the minute and a half he was on
Yeah.
stage.
he was Jim
on
Halpert
stage,
to me.
You know,
He was.
the
Yeah.
minute and a half he was up there, he did a great job.
That being
And
said,
turned into a Twizzler.
the too soon. Too soon. It's been reported that that was basically a fan stunt casting that
I mean,
Feige did because everyone was asking for it.
that whole council, that whole Illuminati was a fan casting.
Yeah, the
I mean,
entire
yeah.
thing.
I mean, the whole movie was
The whole movie was
basically a fan fiction, but fun.
Yes.
I mean,
That being said, I've heard reports from people who have heard reports that they're looking for a significantly younger set of people for
Really?
the MCU Fantastic
Oh.
Four. But we're gonna see. These are just reports. Take it with a grain of salt.
There
They
was-
might actually just reveal, hey, we know you like John Krasinski, so we're gonna pay him exactly as much as he's asking
it
to
wouldn't surprise
commit
me.
to the next 10 years of being Mr.
Now,
Fantastic.
speaking of Fantastic Four, did you guys see the tweet that Chris Evans did, where he said somebody asked him if he would consider coming back as Captain America, and he responded, and he's like, no, but I'd probably do Johnny Storm. I don't think he got. I didn't really get a chance to explore that
callback.
character too much. It's like I'd be more interested in coming back as Johnny Storm than Captain America at this
Yeah.
point.
the balls you gotta have.
What's Jessica Alba doing? I'm sure she's available.
Oh,
She's young, right?
we
She's
don't
busy
need-
running
no.
her own company.
Yeah.
That's what she's doing.
She makes awesome diapers, though.
Hey.
I'm sure I'll find out
Yeah,
soon enough.
Yeah, she wanted to go like super responsible and locally sourced with all of her shit. Hats off to you.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I'm gonna be honest. I completely forgot Fantastic Four was even on the docket for this stage of Marvel.
There's Fantastic Four is one of those franchises that, movie-wise, it just has not been done. Nobody's done it justice, and I worry that no one will. You know, it's been done so terribly for so long that I feel like it's almost got this stigma behind it that although if anybody can do it right, it's going to be Marvel because, well, they own it.
Right.
But
I mean, it's a team movie, so I feel like if they got James Gunn on it, that'd be the perfect combination.
yeah.
James Gunn would never. It's not nearly bloody or nasty enough.
Yet,
Yet. Oh, now. Oh, okay. Reed Richards being turned into a Twizzler aside. I really don't see them going the gross and nasty route.
yeah, probably not.
I mean,
Unless.
Maybe with Doom.
Yeah. Doom. That's who I'm really looking forward to them hopefully announcing this year. Who the fuck is gonna be Doctor Doom? Because whoever's doing it has really got to sell that entire getup.
And Doctor Doom has the potential of being the next, to steal a D&D term, the next true BBEG. Yes,
Yeah.
Kang. I don't fucking care about Kang. I'm sorry. I don't care about Kang.
We've seen Kang all of about like a lot of villains in these movies.
He's the biggest
5
villain
minutes.
of the television series.
Yeah. I mean, yes, he's going to
That's
be
fine.
in Quantum Mania, but again, you're putting you had the reveal of the BBEG in a television show. One of the, I mean, Loki was good. Loki was a good show, but
Ooh, contrarian opinion there. Emery, did you not like Loki?
Sir. Okay.
Are you okay?
Okay.
I'm worried about you.
I have a very controversial opinion about that show. I don't care how many times you trick us into thinking Owen Wilson is going to say, "Oh, wow."
yeah.
I don't care how many times
Yeah.
you have girl Loki talk to boy Loki and try to do some weird will
Weird
they won't they with
sexual tension with themselves, basically.
with themselves who become
So you have no heart, is what you're telling us. You have no heart. Your heart is dead.
I'm not an autosexual, you son of a bitch. There is no greater form of narcissism than what they displayed.
That's who Loki is.
That's Loki.
Okay, there's a difference between like narcissism that's fun and narcissism that's gross. Like narcissism that's
I
fun.
wasn't that grossed out by it.
That's the
I was kind of
second.
into it.
Okay, the second to last episode where Loki gets to see all of the other fucking Lokis that were sent to like that part. That's the narcissism I expected.
The
Loki making out with
vote
Loki
for Loki badge.
Yes, President Loki, the head of all of the Lokis that have been, time shenanigan out of their existences. That's what I expected. That's what I saw in the trailer. That's what I was game for. Loki making out with the girl version of himself, which is basically him making out with himself. No. Stop. I have to draw a line somewhere.
See, every episode I'm surprised by somebody having a contrarian take that I did not expect. Nor ever expected. I appreciate you,
mean,
Emery.
to go to reel this back now.
Yeah, bring it back in.
I enjoyed Loki. It wasn't my favorite of the shows, but I enjoyed Loki, but the fact that Kang was literally set up for, like, the entire show was just setting him up for Quantum Mania. So it was the prologue of Quantum Mania, more or less, and I appreciate what they did. However, I don't care about Kang. I don't.
They haven't done anything to make you care about Kang.
But from the second they brought in Thanos in a post-credit scene, as soon as they mentioned Infinity Stone, and you knew where that plot was going for all of the Marvel movies,
yeah,
I was like, "Oh shit, it's
Right.
Thanos." You know, I don't fucking care about Kang.
Well, see, here's the thing with Thanos. The reason Thanos worked is because you can actually go back and look at those, like, original Marvel movies and see that they were setting up Thanos from day one.
Right.
Yeah.
With Kang, it's just...
Well, granted,
don't kill me or do. Multiverse is happening either way.
yeah, but I mean, granted, they didn't have the rights to Kang, so clearly they couldn't do anything with Kang until they bought out Fox, because
Right.
Kang is tied into he's a Richard, he's tied into Fantastic Four. He's the great grandson of Reed and Sue or something like that. I forget the exact generational.
He was before they cast him with Jonathan Majors. Great actor, by the way. See Lovecraft Country if you have the time. But, like, with them casting him, they are very obviously going a very different route.
Possibly. I mean,
Yeah.
it depends on his generational and, how many generations removed he is, I guess.
Okay, that's gonna make the casting of the Fantastic Four even more interesting if they even consider tying those two together.
I'm stating. However, they didn't have the rights to him. That was my point. Is they didn't have the rights to Kang
Right.
up until they
Like-
bought out Fox.
Right. There's a lot that they got the rights to that they're still trying to figure out what the fuck to do with it.
Probably shouldn't talk about the. Have you watched
Miss
Marvel yet?
Yes.
No, I haven't yet.
Okay.
Okay. Do you care about spoilers?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
then
I'm
we're
sure
gonna-
our audience does because it's brand new.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
we're gonna
It
skip
literally
over that.
just finished. But
Here's what I will bring up relating to Fox. I want to know what's going on with X-Men. Like, we can't just keep sitting on our hands with X-Men, having it right there in our back pockets.
It's coming. So
yeah.
Mm.
Ms. Marvel, if you haven't seen it, go see it.
yes.
If you're watching YouTube, which is probably where you're watching us right now,
Pause it and go watch the last episode of.
pause it and go watch the last episode of Ms. Marvel. Let's just say it's becoming more and more common knowledge that, they're making a connection.
Yes.
Okay.
So
That's interesting, but we still need casting, timelines,
right, but
etc.
again, without spoiling
I
anything.
mean, the only one we know is Deadpool.
Yes, we know
'Cause we
Deadpool.
already know they're making another Deadpool movie.
Hopefully
Which I
before
still-
he turns 60.
I still cannot believe that they haven't done a fourth wall, just like Deadpool shows up in the background of one of the other movies.
Well,
yet.
that's what I thought Multiverse of Madness was
I
going
know
to do.
they had the perfect opportunity just to be like have Ryan Reynolds just standing there like eating a pizza or something. One of my favorite memes was this one that went around a couple years ago that was like when they were fighting with Sony and Sony took the rights to Spider-Man away and wasn't going to give. They needed to just like in the new Deadpool movie they needed to cast Tom Holland as Peter Smith. And then he's like sitting there eating pizza, and then all of a sudden you see fucking Andrew Garfield walk in the back, like, "Hey, how's it going, guys?" And then you see fucking Tobey Maguire like walk, like as the pizza delivery guy, like, "Hey, it's pizza time."
That's amazing.
That
But-
would have been perfection. Oh my god.
But yeah, to go back to what we were originally talking about before then is, between the Illuminati in Multiverse of Madness and then the last episode of Miss Marvel.
Ms. Marvel, yeah.
The connections are there. The seeds are sown, and it's going to come to fruition. The biggest issue that this MCU has, and I'm not the first person to say this, and I'm sure as shit not the last person to say this, is the background of the X-Men is not there. In the comics, the fact that Magneto was a fucking Holocaust survivor, all of the cultural influence that the X-Men had, all of the, basically racism, classism, and throughout the 50s through the, 90s, whatever, that's not there. So now they have to come up, and that's like the main driving force of the X-Men, is the cultural significance. So are they just going to be like, oh, now there's mutants?
There's mutants.
It's kind of a cop-out,
Yeah.
There is.
I really thought they had the perfect opportunity at the end of, the Infinity War and Endgame sequences.
Yeah.
Because they released all the celestial energy with the stones.
Yes.
That would be the perfect excuse to activate a latent gene.
Absolutely.
And create
they
the
might
X-Men
come-
using
and
the celestial
They
influence.
might still
They might
do
still
something
do
with
that.
Yeah.
There is a possibility. My assumption was it was going to be a reverse House of M and Multiverse of Madness, and basically she was going to be like, instead of no more mutants, she was going to be like, let there be mutant, or somehow calling it, Scarlet Witch was going to call it into existence.
Right.
That was my assumption.
Yeah, it's another good take.
But clearly that didn't happen.
Yeah.
No, it didn't. It seems like they're honestly playing the long game when it comes to bringing the X-Men back.
And, I mean, why wouldn't they? And because right now you've already killed off or retired all of the big names you had through the first few phases.
Yeah.
And up until now, they thought that they weren't going to have Spider-Man, which is like, if you think of Marvel, what's the first thing? It's like Spider-Man to Marvel is Superman to DC,
That's the biggest thing they got.
Yeah, and so no Iron Man, no Captain America, no more Spider-Man. What do you do? You have to. You can either throw all the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and everything in right now, and then what are you going to do in the next 10 years?
Well, that was always my conundrum. Why I was thinking, at this point, there really isn't a good excuse not to reboot other than generate TV shows, because Black Panther's dead in real life.
Right.
You have all these cast members that are either reinforced that they're not coming back, that they have no interest in doing these movies anymore, and that's beside the point of having a huge payday if they ever do come back.
Right.
And then having to do some really crazy shenanigans with the storytelling to bring them back for a purpose. And then you have like characters that are just getting old, which we saw in Multiverse of Madness. Again, a spoiler, but you see Sir Patrick Stewart come back.
Right.
And
that
he's so frail and old now.
I love
like-
Patrick Stewart, and I love his take on Professor X. I think it's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was almost painful to
It was.
watch.
It was, and it was extremely painful in his death scene.
yeah.
You don't do that, Sir Patrick Stewart.
No.
You don't do that, Sam Raimi.
No, that's exactly what Sam Raimi would do.
Damn it, Sam Raimi. Curses.
Like, you've seen his movies.
It's
Yeah.
true.
I love Sam Raimi, and that's one of my favorite things about Multiverse of Madness is literally somebody went to Feige went to Sam Raimi and was like, just whatever.
Just do your
do what
thing.
you want. Whatever. I don't fucking care. Just fucking be Sam Raimi.
It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna have Scarlet Witch as the villain, and she's gonna fucking kill all of the big heads in Marvel. This is, like, I'm talking fucking Professor X. I'm talking Black Bolt, who we are very conveniently forgetting exists. I'm talking I'm talking Reed Richards. I'm talking we already used Captain America. Okay, Captain Carter from the What If show. Captain Marvel. Oh, she's busy. Okay, different Captain Marvel. Like I'm killing all of them. Excelsior. I
Yeah.
don't know why I turned into Stan Lee. I don't know
Yeah,
what
you
the-
just turned
It totally works. Totally works.
You've
Been possessed by the spirit of Stanley.
Fucking and
But-
Sam Raimi and every single Sam Raimi project and fucking my favorite actor ever, Bruce Campbell. I love Bruce Campbell and the fucking hand, the fucking possessed hand. Oh my god, it was perfect. It was so fucking amazing.
Of all the gags he could have brought back from the dead.
Why wouldn't he?
Literally from
like-
the dead.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Sam Raimi. We love your movies.
I wonder how much they paid him.
A stupid amount.
Either that or he's just like,
just
fuck
curious.
it, I just want to do it because it's going to be
I
fun.
mean, that would be awesome. I would love for that to be true.
It's like, wait,
Yeah.
I get to make a Marvel horror movie? Motherfucking
was-
sign me.
yeah.
Oh my God,
Okay.
it was
Back,
so
back to
good.
the original point.
Yeah.
Oh,
we-
yeah.
I just feel like they're kind of at the perfect point to reboot the entire universe to bring in a new Captain America eventually, bring
Yeah.
in a new Iron Man
The-
and a new Hulk and all these other characters that you can't do anything with now.
Right.
I get with the multiverse shit. Like I'm sure there'll be some weird excuse to mix new
Right.
personnel with
I
the
swear to God,
the
if they
newly
bring Tom
established
Cruise
Fantastic
in, I'm
Four
going
and-
to quit. I quit. Fucking all this shit about Tom Cruise as Tony Stark. I will fucking walk out of the theater.
Danger zone.
We'll cast Elon Musk.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, we don't need real life Tony Stark.
I'm Tony Stark.
Oh my God, the
Please.
Elon Musk Saturday Night Live was the most painful thing I've ever seen in my life. Anyway,
Right.
But
I-
I feel like they're wasting time more than anything. Right
I agree with you to a point. However, I don't know how successful rebooting any of those characters will be because of the fact that they're so iconic now, and the actors who played them
now. Yeah, that's
played them
mean,
so perfectly that
Christopher Reeves was iconic too, and they replaced him. Like,
that's
okay.
because he couldn't walk anymore.
Okay, here's the thing.
I mean, they replaced Michael Keaton as Batman after
after
one film.
Yeah, that's the thing. One film.
okay.
You know, you didn't have an
Two
entire
films.
Two films. You didn't
Excuse
have
me.
an entire fucking universe created because of these characters. These characters weren't played by the
Yeah, but the characters aren't
actors.
there anymore, so the universe doesn't need them.
Okay, here's
Clearly not, because they're doing just fine right now without them, right?
Then why reboot them if they're doing just
Because
fine without 'em?
we want the characters. We don't want these characters to not exist. Period.
okay.
Right?
But this is how
unlike with DC, these actors play Marvel characters for upwards of 10 years.
Exactly. And
Thus making them far more synonymous with these characters, unlike Batman, who gets changed out like once every, like, I don't know, 2 years, maybe
60
3.
seconds. But here's
They keep going through.
You know,
I mean, the Hulk was changed 3 times already, so I that sounds like a bullshit excuse to me.
Okay, but yet we are
We're
still
on our third Hulk.
Okay.
And he's probably retiring soon.
However-
we'll see how the She-Hulk goes.
yeah, that's the point I was going to make is the fact that they're doing just fine continuing with the second generation of those same characters. I mean, instead of Iron Man, you're gonna have a fucking Riri Williams coming in the next as Ironheart.
Oh,
you have
yeah,
you
she's
have
coming
Kate,
soon, too.
Kate Bishop taking over. You have fucking She-Hulk coming in to take place of Hulk. You have whoever the hell's gonna be the new Black Panther. They're
Yeah, they're
going
still
into
working that
the-
one out.
Yeah, they're going into the whole second generation of heroes, which they could do for a while, and then by that point, once
Yeah.
they go through, the 20 fucking years of this next generation,
I
then
hope
maybe
it's not
people
20 fucking years.
then maybe people won't care as much about
like
recasting
recasting.
Iron
Yeah.
Man and shit like
It's
that.
like,
and-
oh
yeah.
yeah, it's been so long. I think we're finally ready.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
I-
I feel like eventually there's going to be a stark decline in interest.
Stark.
And I don't know. I felt so lukewarm about this whole phase of Marvel products to begin with, just
Yeah.
because I mean, there's exhaustion setting in,
And
I mean,
there is, and
and
I feel like
and the more they add, the tighter the reins are on the writing staff with what they can
Yes.
do anymore, because there's so much canon that you have to sustain to go into
right.
the future
I-
now.
I
It's-
feel like
it's a burden.
switching to the TV format was a good choice at this point.
Yeah.
To give themselves a little bit of a refresher and to give themselves a different take on things. Like, instead of these big epic things, let's focus on the street level heroes. And now that you have the access to the Fox heroes that you can slowly start peppering in, now that you have, and the Netflix ones that they're bringing back in, because they've already said Charlie Cox is coming back in Echo, and then they're already planning a Disney Plus Daredevil show.
Mhm.
So you're bringing in Daredevil, which means eventually they're going to bring in Punisher, Jessica Jones, who gives a
Luke Cage.
fuck about Luke Cage. Sorry, I mean
Okay,
the show is
Luke Cage
halfway
season
decent.
2
Yeah.
is what we
And
all wanted.
As long as we get a different Iron Fist. He was fantastic in Game of Thrones, but I don't know if it was him or if it was the writing
Probably both.
or if it was a combination of both.
Yeah.
But as long as we don't go with the same route with Iron Fist,
Y-
please.
Yeah, they gotta fix
They got-
whatever the fuck they wrote.
they gotta
for
Hulk
that.
him out.
Yeah.
Hulk him out, really?
I'm petty.
You son of a bitch.
What else would you like to see at the San Diego Comic-Con from other companies?
You know what I would like to not see? Anything from Warner Brothers.
Well, if we're discussing strictly the stuff that they have announced and have planned, I agree.
I don't want to see
if they come out and say, you know what, Ezra Miller, we're not releasing that movie.
No.
Aquaman, without Amber Heard, not even gonna bother editing it. Just, we're done. We're
did
done
you
with
see-
the Snyderverse. It's done.
Yeah.
We're moving on. Brighter
Did you
pastures.
see there was a
Joker 2 is no longer a musical. If they do that, I'm totally
Yeah.
on board.
Did you see there was a petition that went out to replace Amber Heard with, again, Bruce Campbell?
Yeah,
And
I did see that.
It got over 1
I
million
did see that.
signatures. That's what I want to see. That's the. You want to know what I want to see in
Yeah.
San Diego Comic-Con? I want to see the announcement that Bruce Campbell is taking over and replacing Amber Heard, and they're just green screening him in. They're not even reshooting it. It's just going to be like a shitty green screen effect of
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell in a Speedo next to Jason Momoa.
I would actually want to see that movie if they did that.
People would actually
I would-
pay money.
I would. I really would. I mean, yeah. I mean, the only thing that I have any interest in whatsoever from Warner Brothers live action movies right now is the one product, Shazam 2. That's it. And Shazam is like a standalone thing. They intentionally hid a cameo character in the first movie because they didn't know if they were going to have access to him in the future. So I won't spoil it if you haven't, since you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I
but
haven't seen it.
there's a
Oh my
famous cameo at the
God.
very end of Shazam,
Yep.
and they only show him from the neck down because they didn't know if they would have access to
It's
this
real dumb.
particular person and
That's
character.
fantastic.
Yeah.
It's real dumb.
Yeah. That's how fucking chaotic this company is.
It's
They
absolutely
can't even do a
ridiculous.
cameo properly because
The entire
they don't know
fucking
what the
thing
status of their actors
It
are.
is so terrible.
This is-
The
Yeah.
fucking WB did a better cinematic universe
Yeah.
with their television shows
Yeah,
than
that's the
WB
general consensus.
than Warner Brothers ever will.
Yeah,
It's-
it's frustrating.
What
Can
else
we
could you
just-
possibly expect from doing cocaine comics?
It's not DC Comics that's at fault.
No,
it's
it's
Warner
Warner
Brothers. The
Can we
comics
just-
are good. The cartoons are good. The cartoon animated films are good.
Can
It's
we
the
just-
fucking live action Los Angeles Studios
Yes.
bullshit.
Can we just recut the Arrowverse shows into movies and release them?
Yes.
I
It's
mean,
Fucking
it's
do
just-
some. Take the.
Season 1 of Arrow still holds up.
Yeah, it
I mean,
does.
here,
Take the graphics are god awful, and I mean the CGI is fucking terrible. It looks like something off
Yeah.
of the WB or
Yeah.
or like early 2000s sci-fi network shows.
Yeah, that could be re-edited.
Yeah, we just go in, we fix that CGI, and you can recut all of the Arrowverse shows into actual decent movies and do a better job than whatever this bullshit is that DC movies have put out, or Warner Brothers has put out under DC for fucking the last 20 years.
Yeah, and I get the hesitation to use like the same actors that are already associated with a TV quality project, but I mean honestly, they could just take the perfectly casted TV people like Matt Ryan as Constantine and put him directly into a movie. Hashtag save Constantine.
Yeah, hashtag save Constantine.
Instead of fucking dealing with Ezra Miller and all of his bullshit, just get Grant Gustin. Gustin? Is that how you say his name?
Yep, Grant Gustin.
Get Grant Gustin as the Flash and fucking throw him in the movie.
Yeah. It's
just edit like the lower half of his face.
Yeah, and like you don't have to even have that uncanny valley issue of, you know, is he part of the old Flash universe?
Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. You can make this new universe with the same people that you know already do a good job in the roles.
Oh, you mean kind of like Marvel did with Sir Patrick Stewart?
No, because they didn't establish anything there.
No, they didn't. But either way,
they used him as a pawn to make a grotesque murder scene of an old man. That's Sam Raimi's wet dream.
Shameless.
That's all that was.
That was entirely shameless on his part. But we still all paid for that fucking movie. And
honestly, I just want to see some honest to God respect for the fans from Warner Brothers. That's what I want to see.
Don't hold your breath.
You know what I want to see? I want to see an executive say to everyone in whatever hall that they're showing in,
I'm sorry,
we're actually going to release the Flash movie.
Oh, God. Please don't. Please don't.
You'll see.
Here's the thing.
Group walk out.
There was still supposed to be like a Flash Green Lantern movie scheduled.
Oh, Jesus.
Mind you, of course they're going to recast, but that movie, here's the fucked up thing about that movie. It's already shot. Like, the entire thing is already done. The only reason it's not coming out, like, later this year or early next year is because Ezra Miller's a terrible person.
Yeah.
And it's probably bad, so...
I mean, yeah, it's probably bad. Look at
WB, you can afford it. Write it off.
Yeah.
If you really want to release it, put it on, one of your streaming platforms and just milk it for what it is. It's like the Snyder Cut. Like, nobody needed to see a theatrical cut of the Snyder Cut of Justice League. You put it on your streaming platform. The people that want to watch it, watch it. The people that don't want to watch it get to move on and enjoy life and live in the illusion that you're not doing cocaine comics. And it's a sad state that I live in as a DC fan. I mean, thankfully the comics make up for a lot of it, but unlike Marvel. But Marvel has far superior movies. It's not even really arguable at this point.
Also, I dare DC to relieve the first 5 minutes of Joker 2. I want to see the first song that they start.
Please don't make it a musical.
I just want to see it.
Please don't do it. It's one thing if it's like a one scene.
Is that an actual thing?
Yes.
Like it's supposed to be a musical?
Yes. That's why they cast Lady Gaga, because they want to make it a musical.
Are you fucking kidding?
I'm not fucking kidding you. I am dead serious, and it fucking hurts me to say
the
this.
The Joker, okay.
You have no idea how hard I'm clenching right now.
All of the shit that I just laid on DC... The Joker was the exception to that. The Joker was a fantastic fucking movie.
And so, in WB tradition, we're
shit all over it.
Let's ruin it.
Yep.
Let's put nipples on it and give it a credit card.
They're George Clooney it, aren't they? Oh, Jesus.
George Clooney with his trademark head swing.
Nipples. I'm Batman. These are my bat nipples.
Hi, Mr. Freeze. I'm Batman. Like, what? I
It hurts.
swear we know what we're doing
It
Do you-
hurts.
I mean-
with Batman. We
It
know what we're
hurts.
doing with Batman.
But hey,
Everyone else.
we might get some announcements about another Harley Quinn season, the animated show on the HBO streaming app. Might get more news on Doom Patrol, another season perhaps.
Okay, yeah, Doom Patrol is
I
great.
do want to see more Brendan Fraser because I love him.
Yes.
Like I said, WB does really good stuff outside of Hollywood. It's the Hollywood stuff that's horrible.
It's few and far between.
It's horrible.
It's unfortunate, but it's few and far between the good things that they do.
And it's not limited to just DC, but it's particularly bad with DC.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
They have a template. there's not one but two studios that give you the perfect template, and you failed to execute anyway.
God.
So frustrating.
It keeps happening.
But moving from the two big comic companies, since we're eating up a lot of time with this one news item,
It's a big news item.
real quick, I would like to see something being done with Hellboy. That's what I would like to see. Some kind of
Like a recast.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. Did
Hey,
you see
now.
the new Hellboy movie with
No.
Harbor?
Harbor?
Yeah,
Harbor.
David
Harbor.
David Harbour from Stranger Things.
Oh, fucking
He's
yeah.
the-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember
Yeah.
seeing the previews for that, but
Yeah, the
I-
reviews were pretty bad, so I didn't get
No.
a chance to see it. But
I saw it, and my favorite thing in that movie is
Can we just go back to Ron Perlman? Please?
he's old.
He's approaching
It's
80.
the Sir Patrick
I-
Stewart issue.
It doesn't matter. You put Ron Perlman in some fucking red body paint, and he,
I mean, maybe they can do some like face capture, like Josh Brolin.
Oh,
that would work.
yeah.
Work with just a face capture thing. With
That
but
that
they'd
would
have
work.
to do so much CG, which I mean, Hellboy, I guess you could get away with, but the practical effects were too good.
Just-
I mean,
yeah,
just
they-
you can't
voiceover
do a
work.
you can't
Just,
do a Hellboy.
just voiceover for Ron Perlman and put it a full CG
God,
Hellboy.
he did have the perfect voice for
Yeah.
that fucking character.
He really did. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would like to see something from the smaller companies, particularly, Hellboy. Maybe it'd be cool if we could see something a little bit better quality for Ninja Turtles, I don't need it to be Michael Bay.
No.
Yeah.
Can we get a non-Michael Bay Ninja Turtles, please?
we don't need Ninja Turtles with nostrils and
Oh
just,
God!
it's terrifying.
I don't need to see your nose holes,
Yeah.
please.
It's like a VW bus with nostrils and a mouth.
Oh no!
Uh,
All right, but
terrifying.
I will say the best part of the Michael Bay Ninja Turtle movies is the Michelangelo. Don't worry, it's just a mask joke. That was fucking hilarious.
And it was in the trailer.
Yeah, it was in the trailer. It was the best part of both movies, but it was hilarious.
It's like, don't worry, it's just a mask. Why is that what you think I'm freaking out about? You fucking you
Yeah.
upright turtle.
Yeah.
Oh my
But
God!
there's a lot of great comic book products out there and just stuff waiting to be tapped. I mean, people didn't think Walking Dead was going to be anything until they made that show, and then it exploded. You know,
Oh yeah.
and it became one of the most collectible comic series on the planet.
Which that's about to end.
Yeah, it's finally coming to the conclusion. Probably way too late.
Yeah,
at
way-
this point.
I stopped watching about Negan when they introduced
Yeah.
Negan. Is about when I stopped watching.
Yeah, I mean, I've read the whole comic series, but yeah, the TV show, it ran so long. I couldn't stick with it. I was just
Which, let me clarify, it
Yeah.
wasn't because of Negan, because he fucking played that
Yeah, he
character
did great.
perfectly.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was just after 73 seasons, I was just kind of burnt out.
Well, and for just to give you a little context, for me as a person that read the comic and really enjoyed the comic, it's really hard for me to watch a show that starts off with the same characters as the comic, but with a totally different story for like the first 2 or 3 seasons, and then they just like try to pretend like they're gonna follow the
Sure.
comic now when they already usurped like all
yeah,
the
right.
the
They've
core
already gone in a
material.
completely different direction.
And then they have to like shoehorn characters and events in that already happened in the comic, in a weird way that doesn't make a lot of sense. And then I don't know. It hits this weird middle ground that doesn't quite work for me. I would rather you either do something unique or stick to the source material.
So it's the Dark Tower movie.
Yeah,
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 yeah, God.
yeah. Very similar.
Oh, God,
It,
that movie makes me sad.
it's
I
it's a
have a
weird.
love-hate relationship to that movie
Yeah.
because I absolutely adore the Dark Tower series. And the movie, while, panned everywhere,
Really fucking hard. Yeah.
I don't hate the movie. I can't say that I loved the movie, but I don't hate the movie. I watched it while I was in a hotel room in Chicago one time, and I was like, it was entertaining. And knowing the way that that series ends and how they were approaching this movie without giving away any spoilers, in my head, I could follow it and it made sense.
Yeah.
However, it wasn't done well.
Yeah.
It is the epitome of, like, for me, it's a guilty pleasure. I'll watch it again when I'm like can't fall asleep or something,
Mhm.
You
and
just want to see the fucking gunslinger.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm the thing that makes me sad is the fact that that is probably the only visual uh version of it we're ever going to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that movie, I have the same issue with that you have with The Walking Dead. That
Right.
movie, it felt like it was trying to both be its own thing and like say that it's going to follow the source material up to a point. It's like trying to have it both ways, but in the
Right.
end, really not having it either way.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I think it does. Specifically for that movie, for me, it comes down to, just like you said, either follow the source material or be committed to doing your own thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it comes out a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't think there's too much more to touch on that.
Yeah.
You guys got any major ones to stand out before we move on?
No.
No.
Valiant. I really.
I would like to see Valiant do something.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of spoiled their one opportunity with Bloodshot, but
yeah, they really shit the bed with Bloodshot.
yeah, I mean, to be fair, they picked
The wrong
a
person to be
totally
Bloodshot.
incompetent studio and casting director, and
Yeah.
they did not make good decisions there. All right, moving on. So again, if you are looking forward to the announcements or are attending any panels or anything like that this year at San Diego Comic-Con, it is July 21st to July 24th, so look forward to that. Next up on the news, Bandai Namco was the victim of a ransomware attack by the group named ALPHV, more commonly known as Black Cat. They've attacked a few companies in the past, and Bandai Namco is not the only video game company to fall victim to ransomware attacks. Not too long ago, CD Projekt Red was the victim of a ransomware attack in 2021, and then Capcom was also famously dealt with a ransomware attack in 2020. Just thought I'd bring this up. With the kind of war going on in Ukraine, it's been very public that various groups and hackers and ransomware groups from both countries and internationally have been basically going at an all-out war, digitally
God.
speaking, with various points of infrastructure, various businesses that are popular in different industries, and they're basically poking everywhere. I mean, anybody that works in a corporate setting like I do, you're constantly reinforced with, hey, A, B, and C need to be secure. Don't f around with these
Yeah.
emails. If anything's suspicious, report it immediately. Label it as malicious or potentially malicious, and don't open it. Don't click any links. Don't do anything stupid.
Yeah, I don't know if
And this is public knowledge, but there's several businesses that are linked to critical infrastructure and logistics that have already been hacked and basically brought to a standstill for weeks. And it's not, you look at the news and you see stuff like backed up at the port and stuff backed up at the rail and these big logistics crunches that are happening all over the world, more or less due to COVID, but also because of high demand
Right.
and scarcity of materials. That's also being caused by attacks, ransomware attacks, and the things that are attacking critical infrastructure in retaliation and in aggression. So it's just a big reminder to everybody out there, even these gaming companies who think would be relatively safe until they get doxxed for having a contrary opinion or
I mean,
a
you
bad business practice.
Still think of how
Yeah.
much proprietary information and private information these guys
Yep.
have when it comes to accounts, credit card numbers,
Yep.
and all that other shit
Yep.
that they have.
all those
of all their
rewards
customers.
programs, they want your
Oh, yeah.
email and your phone number.
Yeah.
And, yep. They can get a ton of info, and they did publicly release that while it didn't affect anybody in the Americas or Europe, it did affect the information security of non-Japanese Asian nations that are their customers. So they did point out that anybody in the Southeast Asia, basically, except for Japan, for some reason they have a separate infrastructure for that, were affected by data loss and various things that could potentially affect your identity and the security of your identity in those countries. So if you're watching or listening from any of the countries in Southeast Asia other than Japan, you might want to watch out if you have a Bandai Namco loyalty program account or anything like that. So good to know, good to watch out for. Moving on.
Oh, so I don't get to say hack the planet.
No, Jesus. Speaking of movies I used to fall asleep to every single night, I'm pretty sure from let's say 2005 or 2002 until about 2007, I fell asleep to the DVD of Hackers damn near every single night.
Of all the things you could have fallen asleep to.
It's a very strange choice.
I loved that movie, but it was one of those, like, again, going back to the
that's
guilty,
a guilty
pleasures.
pleasure. Oh, yeah.
Because the movie is actually kind of terrible.
It's not kinda.
But I enjoyed it so much I used to just throw it in my DVD player because it was one of those things where I needed some sort of stimulation to fall asleep. I couldn't fall asleep if it was total silence or total darkness, so I would always have my TV on. But then I would start to get into whatever I was watching, and I wouldn't want to fall asleep. So then I just throw some mundane movie I've seen thousands of times. So I would throw in Hackers, the DVD of Hackers, and I would sit there and fall asleep to it damn near every single night.
Every episode, I feel closer to you.
Yeah, see, when they do it in the movies, it's cheeky and fun, but when they do it in real life, it's sad and tragic.
It's true. Moving on. Next news topic. PlayStation has announced its free loyalty program, PlayStation Stars.
Speaking of loyalty programs that'll get hacked.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
Ooh. Is it too soon? I don't know. Feels too soon, but it's probably not.
Shit, maybe.
Sony famously has fell victim to hacking campaigns multiple times.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. PSN was down for like a month at one point.
Not a good infrastructure.
Not great.
That was just because it was PSN.
Ooh.
Yeah. They apparently made it better with, two-step verification, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I'll believe it when I see it. Anyway, they have launched this new program that will be appearing later in 2022. It will feature various challenges and achievements you can strive for. Pun intended. That includes campaigns, as they're calling it, rewards for various trophies, accumulation of credit for trophies, tournaments, and they will also have various competitions for brand new games, like the first to get a given trophy in your region, you will get a sizable bonus. in terms of loyalty credit. And you can use that loyalty credit to redeem for PSN funds, or you can buy things directly using that PSN credit for like special digital art and stuff that you can use for your profile pictures and stuff like that. For those familiar with the PSN profiles, like there's a banner you can customize. You can, if you buy some of the themes, you can customize your PS5 or PS4 theme. PS3 had the same thing. So that's always cool. I always thought that all companies should utilize their trophies and achievements and anything related to that.
Yeah,
Sure.
further incentivize having that.
Just
as
like
a thing to
unlocking
achieve.
things in a game, you work towards getting those trophies, not just to have bragging rights on some
So can you just
Right.
buy
deep
the
dark
shit?
forum. What's that?
Can you just buy the shit if it's like or unlocking? I'm bringing it back to the beginning.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, bringing it
So,
all the way
Bringing
back.
it all the way back to the beginning.
So we'll get
So-
to that. We'll get to that.
Have the ability just to pay to get all this shit.
So yeah,
Mm.
the biggest thing that people latched onto with this announcement was that they were talking about proprietary digital collectibles, which sounds a lot like an NFT.
Oh Jesus!
So now the executives that were part of this announcement were asked directly these questions, and they said, "No, it is clear that it's not an NFT. It's strictly for accessorizing your PSN account and stuff like that."
Oh, you
Again-
could totally funge these tokens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But
I'm afraid those tokens were fungible all along.
Oh no!
but
Oh, it's coming.
it will be interesting. The nice thing they said is that your PlayStation Plus subscription will automatically help you accumulate points, loyalty points for every purchase you make on PSN while you are a PlayStation Plus subscriber. So not only will you get points for participating in these campaigns and earning trophies and whatnot in these games, but you can also earn some credit as long as you are a PlayStation Plus subscriber, simply for being subscribed and purchasing games on the system. So,
Fantastic.
as far as a business move, it's brilliant. Like, I don't see why more companies aren't doing this right now, and haven't been doing it for a decade.
They're waiting for a big dog like PlayStation to try it out and see how it works.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's really no way you can lose on that because it's a fake currency on your platform that you own completely. It's not like you're paying Google and Apple rights like we talked about last week, where you're paying them 30% to sell on your storefront. No, like you own the storefront, so
Right.
you just take a little tiny piece out of your credit margin, and you give a much more viable ecosystem. They also talked about having a monthly check-in credit.
Oh.
So as long as you got on PSN and
Within a month.
played a
Yeah.
game once a month, you would get a certain amount of credit. So
And
it's
it'll be right underneath what you need to purchase things.
probably if
If it costs
the accountant's
25
getting there.
credits, it'll give you 24.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But,
sons of bitches.
I think it's cool because it gives people incentives to chase trophies
Sure.
for something other than being OCD,
Yeah,
know.
because I mean,
which is the only reason I chase
Yeah.
trophies. I hate seeing something at 98% on my PSN profile. I'm like,
so you go and dodge the lightning again?
I sure do.
Oh,
sure
no.
do. I sure do.
I will not.
This is
Call
why
back
it takes
to-
me so long to finish a fucking game because I have to 100% everything like a fucking moron
Yeah, you should talk
for
to my-
nothing.
If you're,
You should
I would
talk to
say
my
do
brother.
That, do that if you're gonna review a game.
No, I'm bad, man. Because I don't. Once I finish the game, if it's not amazing, I never want to go back to that fucking game again. I don't want to look at it. I don't want it sitting on my dashboard. I want it gone.
That's fair. The only
So I
game,
make sure I do every single thing, so there's never going to be an excuse for me to have to go back and play it again.
the only game that I've ever actually replayed. Okay, I'll rephrase that because I replayed Skyrim 562 times.
On your fridge, on
Yeah.
your laptop, on your
yeah.
phone,
On my
on
Amazon
your water
Alexa.
bottle.
I wonder if it will work on my fridge.
Oh fuck.
No,
It works in your Tesla.
yeah. But the only recent games that I've actually gone back and replayed is Mass Effect, the Mass Effect series. I downloaded the Mass Effect Legendary Edition when it went out for sale, and I've gone back and I've started replaying those. But yeah, I'm the same way. Once I finish a game, granted, it's very rare that I'll actually finish a game. I'll usually get like
Same.
75% or something, and then just get bored with it and move on.
I get ending anxiety. Like I don't. If I really enjoy a game, I don't want it to end.
Yeah.
And so I get ending anxiety, and I stop playing it long enough that I forget how to play it, and then I have to play the whole thing again.
There you
Oh
go.
my god!
I've done
that a lot.
I've done that quite a few times. Where
I do it with comics too.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, like it's very, very rare for me to actually finish a game, unless, to be honest, save for the Mass Effect series, which I've finished all 4 of them. I honestly can't remember. Like, I finished the main quest in Skyrim, but I've never like finished Skyrim. Granted, that takes.
Yeah. See, I've done the opposite. I played every side quest you can imagine in Skyrim and avoided the main quest because if I finish the main quest, I won't do the side quests.
Fair enough.
So that's another thing that I have to deal with.
Yeah.
My fucking video game OCD.
All of these points on the map, I have to hit all of them.
I'm sure there's a psychologist or psychiatrist rather watching this and just evaluating me what a fucking specimen. All right. I'm going to commit you to a hospital for a long
OCD,
time.
ADHD.
Hope you
So when you got to about 75% of Skyrim, how did that make you feel?
anxious, scared.
Anxious, anxious and scared. That's interesting. So when you saw the DLC that allows you to actually go to Morrowind, did you want to complete that before getting to the end of the main quest, or did you even consider
wake me
going
up when
outside?
this bit's over.
Well, it's very distinct. I was pretty comfortable. Nick, all right.
Oh my god!
We got the heckler over here ruining our comedy bit.
Hey,
Jeez, what a wet blanket over here.
Oh my god!
Squelchy.
At some point, if we ever get to a point where we actually have an actual studio for this shit, comedy bits.
Yes.
I'm gonna be comedy bits all the fucking way
What are
down.
you talking about? We're in a studio.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Cut that last part. Gotta throw it at camera 2.
We suck.
Eventually.
We're such hacks. But getting back to the original topic at hand, I think it's a cool consumer move. It's right in line with the other consumer move they've clearly had with their new PlayStation Plus offerings, although I think it could have been done a little smoother. You can't expect that from Sony. Let's be real.
Right.
They're trying, and I'll take it.
We're gonna have to.
Next up on the news, there is a newly announced spinoff to The Boys coming very soon. It's going to be called Gen V. It will focus on a Vought-led group of college-age superheroes and the shenanigans that are related to that.
So,
Based on the comics, I think it's probably going to be very similar to the Team Titanic, which is obviously a spin on Teen Titans. In the Boys comic book, they're basically college-age assholes, and
they
have to spy on them for
is that
Van Wilder, the superhero, basically.
Essentially,
pretty much.
Yeah,
probably.
Here's the thing with that. Team Titanic is one thing. I thought they were gonna do, or at least it sounds way more like the G-Men than it does Team Titanic. If they're doing it in like a...
I don't know about that. Because the G-Men were a very different situation. I don't know. It could be. It could be. Yeah, they haven't released a lot of details, so you could totally be right. It could be like the Academy for the G-Men. Which, to my knowledge, I haven't watched the newest season yet, but to my knowledge, they haven't really shown anything
Yeah,
related
I've only
to
seen
them.
the first episode of the new season. I really need to catch up on a lot
Yep,
of shit.
that's what this weekend's for me.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
Start with Miss Marvel.
Okay.
Um, personally, this is just me. I would say watch Boys season 3 first.
Oh.
That's fair.
I personally had way more fun
See,
watching The Boys season 3 than I did Miss Marvel, and
that's fair.
Yeah,
I mean,
we can get into that in like a separate discussion.
Yeah. So
I enjoy Miss Marvel.
Yeah, I did too, but to
was-
probably a much lesser degree.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
before we go off on another tangent,
So yeah, Gen V hasn't had a release date announced yet, but they did say it's in production. Casting is already done. Stories are already written. They just need to actually crank it out and get it to our eyeballs on the Amazon Prime app. So look forward to that. Definitely cool to see the boys growing beyond the mainstream show, and we'll have more boys content to enjoy very soon. Hopefully it still has the the entertainment value without the great cast that the boys has. I think that's always the hardest part of the equation, is getting a cast that both meets the needs of the role and can play the part well. And for something like the boys, especially, like you have to have an iron stomach to to really play some of those parts. You know?
Yeah, these are big shoes to fill. Big, very gross shoes.
Not for the timid of heart.
Absolutely not.
Next up on the news, PlayStation did release a new trailer for the God of War Ragnarok game that has officially been dated for November 9th this holiday season.
so it'll come out in June of next year.
We'll see about a delay.
Yeah, I will give Sony some credit here. They generally stick to their release dates pretty well. Now, they do have a bad habit of announcing games way too early and then never releasing a release date until 10 years down the line.
Yeah.
What was it? The Last Guardian was kind of notorious for that, where they announced it, they showed a trailer for it, it was basically made, and then
we promise it's coming out, guys.
Didn't hear anything for like 6 years.
I'm still waiting for Shadow of the Colossus 2.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's
funny.
That's cute. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm sure they're working real hard on that.
Yeah.
But basically,
Oh no, it was the other game with the big giant dog thing. That was.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
It was The Last Guardian.
Oh, was that The Last Guardian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the big dog with wings.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, what that was supposed to be on PS3 didn't come out until like maybe halfway through PS4.
Yep.
We got it eventually.
Yeah, it was pretty underwhelming too.
Should have just been Shadow of the Colossus 2.
It should have been.
Yeah. Moving on. The trailer features Kratos and boy facing a big wolf who is likely Fenrir. If you know anything about Norse lore, Fenrir is basically this pissed off wolf that grows indefinitely. And the gods were scared of it because he was evil and wanted to kill everything and everybody, and he just kept getting bigger and stronger and bigger and stronger. And so they chained him to a rock. And then during Ragnarok, he's supposed to get loose and start wreaking havoc on everybody. And he eventually gets killed by a son of Odin who has some boots that prevent the wolf from being able to bite down on him and swallow him, which is dumb. But hey, Norse mythology, whatever.
So,
I mean, when you think of a dog, immediately you think of, or a wolf in specific, ankle biter. You're gonna you think an ankle biter, so of course you're gonna think of magic boots for this.
I just imagine some dude in like cowboy spurs.
Jesus Christ.
You can't eat me.
So it's the opposite.
Settle down, little doggy.
So it's the opposite of Achilles, basically.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, basically.
super feet.
I've got super feet.
But in the lore, he's like ridiculously powerful and big, and like he eats the moon and the stars and the sun, and like
Is a hungry dog.
purges everything into darkness. So
Oh, you mean he shits out darkness?
he shits out darkness.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Darkness.
I fucking dare you, Sony, to do this. I fucking dare you.
But yeah, I mean, the God of War is awesome, so I don't think they really need to sell it very hard because it's gonna sell like hotcakes when it does come out. And from what I can tell, it's basically the only major thing coming out this holiday season except Call of Duty. Like, can you guys think of anything else major that's coming out this holiday season that's been announced?
Crisis
the-
Core.
Come on, come on, bro.
I
The
don't know.
PSP game that's
I
being
don't-
remade.
I know
it-
the release date, but I can't remember what the release date was. But the only other major announcement I can think of recently was the newest Assassin's Creed game, but I think that's still a year or two out.
Yeah, it's
Which
not for
will-
this year.
Take place in the Aztec Empire.
Unfortunately, that's not true.
That's not true?
No, it was a hoax.
Oh, well, that's actually...
I found out today.
That's actually good, because
Yeah.
it screws with the timeline of all of the Assassin's Creed games, considering they were supposed to be based off
Yeah.
of the organization that started in the fucking Crusades.
It'd be really weird if there were assassins and
In
Templars
Aztecs.
in-
yeah, that's why I was...
in Aztec country
yeah.
before the
So
Europeans
I'm
arrived.
actually very happy of the fact that that is not true.
Yeah.
Okay, can we just finally come to the conclusion that the timeline is the last thing that they're fucking concerned with?
Yeah, they
that's
stopped caring
fair.
about the timeline after Assassin's Creed 3.
They stopped caring
They
about
killed
this
the main
timeline
character.
halfway through Assassin's Creed 1.
Uh,
Let's be honest.
You're
I
not
don't
wrong. It definitely felt like a make shit up as you go and give you a perfect excuse to run around ancient cities. Which,
Yeah.
hey,
I don't know.
I was here for it up until
I'm probably in the
Unity.
minority of this, but I really love like what they were building from Assassin's Creed 1 through Assassin's Creed 3.
with like Desmond.
Yeah. And I know
Oh,
I'm the minority
no.
there, but that was the story that held everything together. After he was gone, there's
To-
no point to anything that was
To
happening.
me, there's no point to the story in Assassin's Creed. I play Assassin's Creed and I just skip through all the fucking story because I don't give a shit. I want to sneak around, stab people, fucking sail on my boat, and
Except you can't really do that anymore.
yeah,
Because now you got to be leveled up to stab people.
Oh my god.
So if you
Why?
stab them, you just do a little damage, and then you have to fight them. And then it's
No.
like, what was
The
the,
the
point
whole
of that?
point
I'm
of
pretty sure my knife kills you regardless of.
I don't give a fuck about the plot line of Assassin's Creed. I just
Yeah.
want to play an assassin and sneak around and fucking stab people and try not to get caught
and jump really high.
and
off
jump
of
really high and climb up buildings.
And that brings us back to Skyrim and the Black Hand. Yeah, I don't know. There's rumors, the real rumors that, well, I shouldn't say real rumors, but after the Aztec hoax. But it sounds like the next Assassin's Creed game is most likely going to be in Baghdad, which cross history is
Yeah. That
pretty
makes
very
makes a lot more
significant
sense
for
than
ancient history.
fucking Aztecs.
Yeah.
Not that I
Yeah.
have a problem with Aztecs. If you're Aztec, I appreciate you as a people.
I
yeah.
don't think there's any Aztecs. I think they're gone. I think they're long gone. I'm sure there's people descended from Aztecs that don't know it, but yeah, they're pretty much gone.
Oh.
But yeah, that would have been a weird choice. It
Yeah.
really would have just. I'm sure there would have been like an Apple of Eden or whatever, in
Yeah.
their temple or something.
Like a-
but
from out of
there's
nowhere,
no
an apple of
Templars, there's
Eden
no
made its way.
assassins, there's no precursors to either.
Right.
So why do we give a
yeah,
fuck?
exactly.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird choice, but
Just
we'll see.
goes to show you can't trust everything you read on the internet.
Yeah. And speaking of there being nothing this holiday season, Forsworn that we mentioned last week in passing that got delayed to 2023,
Yeah.
turns out that it's not even because it's not done. It's actually done. And in an interview with Square
It's
Enix,
fucking done already?
it's done. All they have to do is do some polishing. But according to Square Enix, the game cannot be released because certain partners want to extend the release date.
Oh,
Which
What
I
the
think Forsworn is PlayStation exclusive, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong about that?
I'm pretty sure it's
At
PlayStation
least timed
exclusive.
exclusive.
Yeah.
So I think it's probable that God of War is going to be their big holiday game, and they're pushing Forsworn so it can be their big springtime game.
Oh, see,
That would make sense.
I know.
I bet you that's what's happening.
I know why they would do that. It just came to me. Anyone who like plays PlayStation or mains PlayStation rather, they can attest to exactly what happened between Elden Ring and Horizon Forbidden West. Like one game got quickly overshadowed by the other, and I think that might be what they're trying to avoid.
Yeah.
It's like they know that game's gonna be huge and that's gonna like dominate the media for at least a little while.
Yeah.
So maybe wait till that one dies
Right.
down to
Makes sense.
And I mean,
release.
you think about
Yeah.
the other major players that have products potentially coming but just aren't ready yet. I mean, Microsoft is in the middle of purchasing a bunch of companies, which we'll talk about soon, that have a bunch of products, marinating but aren't quite ready. A lot of
Yeah.
stuff that's been, kind of pointed as potential vaporware from Bethesda in particular. And then you have Nintendo, which is basically the only game that we really know of significance is Breath of the Wild 2, which still has no release date as far as I'm aware.
They're still working on it, it sounds like.
And they don't really have many studios that they're working
Right.
with, so they're fairly limited on release. So what are we going to be playing this season? Like what are kids going to be asking for Christmas?
There is
Yeah.
one game that's coming out this year
Oh yeah, what is that?
that I am excited about, and
Okay.
I'm probably the only person on the planet. The return to Monkey Island.
Oh, okay.
Release date sometime in 2022.
I'm assuming this is a PC Master Race exclusive. Is that correct?
Probably. I mean, I don't know if you know anything about the Monkey Island series.
I do. Yep.
Yes,
Played it as a kid.
absolutely.
Yep.
Fantastic games by LucasArts. And I believe this one is actually still under the LucasArts name, although I didn't realize LucasArts was still a company.
Yeah, that
So-
might be like a separate thing.
That's like
specifically for
we
games.
have the LucasArts brand, but that's it. But yeah, there's no actual release date. It just says 2022, and the art style looks ridiculous. Art's it's still on. It's owned by Disney.
It is owned by Disney. So
Fantastic.
Oh.
I don't know who is who's actually creating the game. It's actually being developed by Terrible Toy Box. It's published by Devolver Digital, so it does not actually look like it is in relation to LucasArts. So I
Okay.
apologize.
Yeah. So Devolver Digital has actually gotten notorious for doing a lot of these remakes, remasters, return to old franchise games with their publishing, which is an interesting strategy. I don't know if they actually own the rights to a lot of these titles or if they're just basically borrowing them on borrowed dime. But
Yeah.
Devolver Digital has been doing a lot of this recently, so
Hmm.
they're a good publisher. So
Interesting.
we'll see what they do.
Without the original writing staff and everything, though, I'm curious how decent this is going to actually be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is the question. Is like
'Cause
that's a very like
those-
narrative,
Yes.
like narrative heavy game.
And those games were all about the comedy and the slapstick and the tongue-in-cheek,
Yeah.
break the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you played it any time in recent history?
I actually, another time I was in Chicago, I downloaded Monkey Island 1 and 2 on Xbox Live because it was available on Xbox Live for like $4 a game or $4 for both of them, something like that.
Nice.
Actually, no. I retract that. It was a Xbox Live Gold month for free game. So, and I actually played through both of them again, and I mean, they still. I mean, it's hard to say that they hold up considering the graphics.
Yeah, that was
are-
going to be my question.
But you go into it knowing that the graphics are garbage because they came out in the early '90s. So you're not expecting it. It's not like a game you played in 2002 when you first got your PlayStation 2
Yeah.
or whatever,
Right.
and it was like fucking breathtaking graphics. You know the graphics are garbage. You know it's a pixelated game. It would be like going back and playing a Atari 2600 game.
Yeah.
So
Right.
they're still fun. They're still challenging, and they're still funny, but they still look like hot garbage. So
That's fair. So moving on, next news topic and the last of the show. PlayStation has officially announced that Bungie's deal to join the PlayStation Studios family has been finished, and they are officially part of the PlayStation brand. The details of the final deal came to a $3.6 billion purchase price, which sounds like a lot of money. Until you compare it to some of the Microsoft purchases that they've been throwing their big dick
Yeah.
money on the table with. Microsoft purchased Bethesda officially for $7.5 billion. So already, double that. And then the pending purchase of Activision Blizzard is currently in progress for an accrued amount of $68 billion.
that was 60. That's 68.
$68 billion. That's
Pending.
Yes.
insane. Yeah, it's
Now-
pending because they're such a big company and they own so much of the market share
I'm
together that there's like antitrust laws and
Yeah.
stuff they
Oh,
gotta
I'm-
overcome.
yeah.
I am part of me is very shocked at the fact that Activision Blizzard is selling. However, I also believe that this never would have happened if it wasn't for all of the controversy that came out with the Activision Blizzard executives over the past year
I'm
or so.
sure there's some of that at play. There's no doubt.
I honestly think this is a oh shit, we need to save the company style move, because
Yep.
I mean Activision Blizzard is by far one of the longest running and most successful developers out there. So I don't, and this is my personal take on it. I honestly do not believe this this deal would have gone down if it wasn't for all that shit that happened with the executives and all of that.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing about this purchase, is that it seems, at least to me, a little suspect. Like, 69 or 6
68. It's 68.7.
68.7
What it works out to. Yeah.
$billion.
$1 billion.
Like, apart from that being a fucking Dr. Evil number to sell an entire company for.
That's bigger than the Elon Musk Twitter price, which is
Yeah.
$44 billion. To give you context of how ridiculous that is.
That should tell you something about how much more a video game company is worth than all of Twitter.
Except every other video game company has been
Yeah.
sold for $4 billion, $7 billion at the biggest.
Right.
This is leagues beyond that. There's no other video game purchase in history
right.
that has even come close to this number.
See, here's
This is Microsoft just flexing in the biggest way possible.
well, there's that, but there's also like them valuing that company at that much. I think one of probably the biggest things that I would have questions about is, one, why the fuck are they selling, or why the fuck are they trying to buy them at that much when you consider how much any other video game company would probably be bought for? And two, it seems to me, at least personally, that at least a couple of the properties that Blizzard and Activision have been on the decline for a while
Yes.
now.
Yeah, and now, to give you some context, I looked it up. The purchase price of Activision buying Blizzard, and this is in 2008 when World of Warcraft was still fairly viable
Massive.
as a
Yeah.
as a big dollar product. They purchased for 18.9 billion. So, it's
Yeah.
Oh my
it's
god.
such a huge jump.
Right.
man,
That's more than 3 times.
it's insane amount of money.
But look at all the products that Activision has too. So
I mean, Call of Duty's the main one, obviously.
right,
Yeah.
and they won't milk that cow until it fucking is dust in the wind.
Which it's already getting there. It's
But
been
the
getting
frat
there.
boys keep buying it, man.
The
it's
frat-
because Battlefield can't produce a good fucking game to save their life.
Okay, while that's true, it's not just the frat boys, it's also like the 12 to 15-year-olds who are trying to own people like fucking Ninja on Twitch.
Ninja's still around?
Unfortunately.
Wow, we're just trying to make enemies everywhere.
The-
Last week we're making fun of the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! Dying to sharks, and this week we're trying to take on streamers. Fuck you, Ninja.
Okay.
Like, I don't know anything about Ninja.
I
Why are you
don't know.
starting to fucking
I don't
feud
know
with
anything
Ninja?
about Ninja.
Okay. Ninja knows exactly what he became and what he was doing. He knows that's all an act. That's all a fucking character that he
Of course
put
it
on.
is.
All major. You're telling me that Dr. Disrespect isn't a character? Get the fuck out of here. They're all fucking characters.
No, that's him.
This dude's really rocking
Yeah.
around with a mullet and a fucking like handlebar mustache.
Yeah.
Hey,
awesome.
it takes all fucking kinds.
I mean, let's be
Emery's
honest.
coming after the Twitch streamers for their legitimacy.
Yeah, every single one of them is a fucking character. That's the whole point. Nobody wants to watch some. Okay, I'm gonna shoot this guy. But hey, look.
That's what they want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's quite a take you have, Emery.
Yeah, look, I'm not trying
We don't have any fans. We can't start feuds yet.
That's how you get fans.
Yeah, start
not-
some shit.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to start none.
I mean, we can be the MGK of.
Oh fuck. Oh god.
How do you
I
get
don't-
fans?
All press is good press.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to play Fortnite for that, man.
Oh.
Anything but Fortnite.
But yeah, just to round out this news topic, I thought it'd be interesting to kind of look through the various studios that Sony and Microsoft both own now. So
Yeah, they keep consolidating, and that's honestly worrisome.
yeah,
It is.
So
the last thing we need is a duopoly.
In video games, for fuck's sake.
yeah, I get the in-house studios if you're buying like a small studio and then making it an in-house product
Sure.
for future development. That makes sense to me. I don't like this new trend where we're taking games and franchises that have been third party for decades and suddenly tying them to a proprietary
Yeah.
ownership group. So
Absolutely.
now you have to play it on this proprietary system or infrastructure, when it's been third party for, 30 years,
Right.
That's where I have problems, but
Yeah, the long-running, ongoing benefit that these third-party companies had with being able to develop games for every platform is slowly dwindling into, if you
mean,
want to play this game, much like they did with Spider-Man and the Avengers,
yeah.
then you gotta at least like play it on PlayStation 4 or 5, at least for like the first 6 months to a year before
Yeah.
we release that to everyone. It's
And these
Yeah.
game companies were kind of playing around with this several years ago. I think it might have been on one of the earlier episodes of the show, but we talked about that Tomb Raider game that suddenly became a Microsoft exclusive.
Yeah.
right.
I was like, why?
It's like,
it's
after
it's
all
been
this time
third party
now?
all this time. It
Right.
was originally
PlayStation.
exclusive to
PlayStation.
PlayStation. Like
Yeah.
you have no franchise ownership of this within your culture. Like
right.
it'd be like PlayStation acquiring Halo.
Yeah.
But why? Your group doesn't identify with this franchise at all, and their sales are going to suffer because you're on a proprietary platform that doesn't really recognize this game. And of course, they had to eventually start releasing it on everything else because they weren't making enough money on that
Right.
particular version.
Also,
Uh,
Sony, I dare you to buy Halo. I heard you
Yeah.
wouldn't.
And we're talking about Bungie, like. Why? Like,
Like-
why would you invest in so much into this company that doesn't identify
And-
really with your brand?
What?
Yeah.
I mean, I lost my train of thought, so let's continue.
Hey, it's late. I get it. But yeah, it's weird for me because I think I get that they've had a very recent partnership with Destiny 2 and I guess the rollout of the original Destiny when they kind of had their breakup with Microsoft, but it just seems weird. Like you would think they would go after a company that has more of a classic legacy with them, like Square Enix,
Right.
which they're always churning out exclusives with Square Enix. But then you go back to the Microsoft purchase of Tomb Raider, which is a Square Enix product technically, and you're like, this none of this makes sense. These business decisions don't seem to correlate with actual
Right.
intent, as far as what you think you
Yeah.
can maximize profit on. It seems like just like a petty jab at your competitor,
Sure.
and it doesn't really serve anybody. But moving on, for Sony, we have Polyphony Digital and Team Asobi in Japan. In Europe, they have Fire Sprite, Guerrilla Games. Guerrilla Games, obviously, the big one there. Housemarque, London Studio, which have been pretty quiet outside of, Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
Media Molecule, which I think Dreams is probably their death knell. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't see a major release in a long time. Nix's Software, XDev, and then in North America we have Bend Studio, Blue Point Games, Haven Studios, Insomniac Games, Naughty Dog, Pixel Opus, San Diego Studio, Santa Monica Studios, Sucker Punch Productions, and Valkyrie Entertainment. So the big hitters are really in North America.
Yeah.
And now obviously Bungie's joining that group. For Microsoft, they have a somewhat more substantial list, although most of them are U.S. based. We have 343 Industries, Activision Blizzard, which is obviously pending the purchase of $68 billion.
Absolutely asinine.
Alpha Dog Games, Arcane, Bethesda Game Studios, which is also another huge purchase very recently. Compulsion Games, Double Fine. I always forget Double Fine's part of their brand, but I guess they are.
I always forget. Oh yeah, because id was part of Bethesda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
id Software, In Exile Entertainment, Machine Games, Mojang Studios, another one I always forget about. Ninja Theory, which is a substantial purchase. Obsidian Entertainment, again, part of that group. Playground Games, Rare, Roundhouse Studios, Tango Gameworks, The Coalition, The Initiative, Turn 10 Studios, Undead Labs, World's Edge, Xbox Game Studios Publishing, and ZeniMax Online.
Which was also part of Bethesda.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's my old man on a porch rant. I absolutely miss the days of like the Wild West video game industry, like throughout the 90s and even into the early 2000s, where you had all of these upstart small companies that were coming out with these fantastic ideas.
Yeah.
And you had so much competition. You had so much feast or famine in the game industry. I mean, look at all of the spectacular innovation and all of the products that came out of these studios before it became a big business. When you had people like Blizzard putting out Diablo, and you had companies like fucking Rare with all of the shit they came out with, like Banjo Kazooie and fucking
they made
Donkey
Donkey Kong.
Kong. Yeah, that's
I mean,
Donkey Kong Country and all of that.
Which is just another example of like, why is your brand demanding
Yes.
Rare of all things?
Exactly.
It's
And-
tied so neatly to the Nintendo
Yeah,
infrastructure.
but
Nobody identifies Xbox with Rare.
that was the video game industry in the 90s. It was like the rock star industry. And you had all of these people competing.
Yeah.
And, you going back to what we talked about before, you went into the store, you went into Micro Center or Best Buy or whatever, and you saw hundreds of different unique titles, and you voted with your money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you don't have that anymore because there's a select few major company. I mean, yes, there's indie developers, but you have a select few major companies that own 90% of the developing market now.
Yeah.
And then they do dumb shit like the fucking pay to win and free play and fucking microtransaction bullshit like that, as opposed to when we could just be like, hey, this game looks cool. I've never heard of this fucking company before. I'm going to spend $50 on this game.
Yeah, and spinning off that idea, it's concerning when you have all of these mega groups of studios all using the same teams, ideas, software, you know, techniques that kind of proliferate around the company. Because if you think about kind of styles of gameplay, they tend to stick within their realm. For example, if you pick up a Ubisoft game, you know what to expect.
Right.
You know there's going to be a collectathon type of thing going on. You're probably going to have to go to a bunch of points and, you know, open up your map more and get a bunch of dots on your map for
Right.
things to do and tasks to do. There's going to be a
Like
bunch of
a whole ass checklist.
Yep, there's going to be a bunch of very shallow side quests to complete that basically level up your character and do all these things. And that's true of basically every game they
Absolutely.
make. I mean, The Division, Far Cry,
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed, like all of these games have the same underlying gameplay techniques kind of woven in
Right.
to their style of storytelling. Now, blow this up to like 10 or 12 studios that are all under one major umbrella, like Microsoft, Sony,
EA.
etc. EA is a big one, yeah. And suddenly you just have this kind of repetitive, I don't know, just predictable situations for each of these games. And suddenly, you know, a third or a fourth of the market is all of these games.
Right.
And they're not
And-
particularly good for everybody.
To also continue to spin off of this onto the business aspect of it, I went to school for game and simulation programming, and when I was getting out of college, I started looking for different companies that I wanted to work for, and at that point, you know, the thought process going through my head, as well as other people I was going to school with, was I don't want to work for EA because getting into this industry, I don't want to work in a corporate environment. I want to work for a game company. I want to work for, you know, these places where, yes, I might have to put in 70, 80 hours of work, but, you know, I'm working for the company that's got like a fucking lounge in the corner with video games, and, you know, we sit over here, we program, we code, and then we go like fucking play Twisted Metal for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like hanging out with your friends while working. I really wanted to work for Blizzard because first off, I loved Diablo. I loved World of Warcraft. I loved Warcraft and all of that shit. In my lifetime, I have probably sent 150 resumes to Blizzard over the course of my life. But but the fact that, you know, I'm looking at this company and I'm like reading about the company, and it's like, wait, when you hit your 5-year anniversary, they give you a sword? When you hit 10-year, they give you a shield? What the fuck? I want to work for this company. And now you have these major corporations buying up all of these independent and all of these smaller companies. You're getting rid of that entire game development mentality, that entire creativity mentality in the workplace,
Yeah.
and you're going to basic corporate America where it's all about clock in on time, fucking make the company money, and you are a cog in the machine. You are no longer an individual. And again, I haven't worked for these companies, so I could be wrong. However, I'm going over the fact that whenever you get this many people working for a business, there are HR requirements that you have to have.
Yeah. And I don't know. I get the intent behind all of these purchases for major players like Sony and Microsoft, because they want to make sure there's always going to be a viable ecosystem, even if negotiations fall through with third-party vendors. Like, you don't want to be completely reliant on third-party vendors for your development teams and video games and stuff you're going to put on your platform, because eventually negotiations are going to have to happen,
Right.
and you need to have some leverage.
Absolutely.
So I understand from a business standpoint, totally makes sense. the problem is a lot of these major purchases that include multiple studios that were already gobbled up by one slightly larger studio and just eventually became one bigger one, one bigger one, one bigger one, one bigger one. Eventually everything gets put through the wash and you lose a lot of that core talent and that startup company that were so excited about the
Right.
industry, so excited about the creativity, about the lore, about the art style, and really created the entire pedestal that you are currently hoping to stand on, but in reality that pedestal doesn't exist anymore. It's
Right.
crumbling under you, and you spent all this money and put all this time and investment in these teams, and now you lose the heart that really drove that ingenuity.
The video game industry over the past 30 years went from this startup like IT style tech creativity, everyone for themselves, but everybody respecting them, to just corporate greed more than anything else.
Yeah, and
It's no longer about the products so much as it's about how can we make more money.
yeah, and we know that doesn't always work out well. We can look at the first major video game system for an example of that, Atari.
Absolutely.
They literally buried extra copies of ET in the desert
God.
because they invested so much money into this one stupid idea that tanked
Yeah.
the entire company because they just wanted to make $1. All right, we got this big franchise. Clearly, we're going to make a ton of money on this. Let's get this trademark property and churn out all these cartridges and put
Who
the
gives
company
a shit
at
about
risk.
what the quality of the game is? People will buy it.
Exactly.
They were Tesla before Tesla was Tesla.
So you
Yeah.
would think that would be a learned lesson that would continue on, but it seems like these companies are going to have to relearn it again, especially as these studio budgets get larger and larger and larger, and these games get less and less stable
Yeah.
and get released in a less stable infrastructure. And then if you have this free-to-play system, like if you release a free-to-play game and it sucks, like you just fucked it up, it doesn't work right, it's not sound, people don't want to play it, those games disappear immediately. And
Oh, yeah.
all that time and money that you invested in that project, gone. Just flushed down the toilet. Because
yeah.
you don't even have that buffer of an initial purchase price that people have to get through the gate to kind of subsidize the creativity project. So what you end up with is a market that is just the same shit over and over and over again because it sells. So let's just keep doing it to sustain ourselves, because if we risk something, especially in this free to play market,
Yeah.
and it sucks, now we're out of luck. We lose all that money. We go bankrupt and we have to sell to some other big company. It's concerning in multiple ways. It's exciting for the people that really enjoy the Microsoft ecosystem or the Sony ecosystem. Less so the Nintendo ecosystem, because they're just the same Nintendo studios that
right.
churning out the same
Nintendo's
things over and
just
over and over again.
Nintendo. They
Yeah.
got Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon, and they're gonna keep putting out Mario and Zelda and Pokemon.
Don't forget F-Zero. Were
I-
you
you-
here that episode?
No.
You might have missed that episode.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
news topic a couple episodes ago was a man that purchased $40,000 worth of Nintendo stock so that he had the right to go to the stock trader meeting and ask the CEO why he wasn't working on
Get the
F-Zero,
fuck out of here.
his favorite video game
that-
franchise.
Yeah, that actually happened.
That actually happened.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want the details on that, go
so
back 2 episodes.
When I
Episode 50.
when I win the lottery, I'm totally gonna do something
4.
like that. I am going to I'm gonna purchase stock in some video game company that I can't think of right now and be like, hey, you need to make this game now.
Hey, you need to hurry the fuck up.
Yeah, I'll purchase
like-
Square Enix and tell them they need to
Stop making Final Fantasy VII again.
on mobile. They can continue making Final Fantasy VII. In fact, that's the only game I want them to work on. Yeah, I don't. You can sell off Tomb Raider, Sell off Hitman.
I forget
You
who.
yeah.
just don't want to be like 50 years old by the time they're done.
Yes. I want to live to see it.
I'm gonna go.
My
who's
3 generations
Daybreak.
of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh my
I'm gonna go to
God.
Daybreak Studios
Daybreak.
because they used to be Sony Online Entertainment,
Oh.
and I'm gonna be like, you need to make Star Wars Galaxies 2, like right now.
Oh. Okay. I would do that with Activision, Blizzard, and say,
Stop making mobile Diablo.
yes, stop making mobile Diablo! You do not need to be draining these whales out here. Just make a good game.
Training these whales out here.
That's exactly what they're doing. It's like as soon as everyone found out exactly how their monetization scheme worked, there were a bunch of Twitch streamers who have way too much money and way too much time and went out of their way to spend upwards of like $100,000 just to get these supposed legendary things, and it still wasn't even the thing that they wanted.
That's fantastic.
I mean, it's hilarious. It's wonderful that you're exposing all of these people that have way too much money, but stop. Just make a good game.
There was, speaking of Twitch streamers who have way too much time and money, so there's this guy that I follow on YouTube. He's a computer programmer in New York City. The channel is Joma Tech. He's this dude who does just videos about being a programmer, living in New York City and everything. Well, he created a bot for his Twitch account to day trade for him. So he put in $20,000 into his like stock account, and basically stepped off and let the chat room in his Twitch account buy and sell stock all day for like 12 hours straight using his money.
Ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Kind of amazing,
Yeah.
but also ridiculous. I mean, that's not the first time they've had like AI set up so that the chat could like control stuff. Like they did it with Pokemon.
Yeah,
like, they
yeah,
had
yeah.
a bunch of like the old classic Pokemon games where
Oh,
you could like press
God.
up and down. People were just going in circles. Like, the chat was fighting each other.
Yeah, he was originally gonna do $10,000, but day trading rules legally, if you have less than $20,000 in your account, you can only do so many transactions per day, and he got blocked for 30 days because of the fact that he had too little of money, and he was breaking some sort of legal precedent about day trading. So he had to put in $20,000 for just these random people of his money for these random people to fuck with.
Oh my God.
It was hilarious.
I mean, he can put $20,000 in my bank account,
Absolutely.
and the chat can vote on ways I should spend it.
Whether or not we'll follow these rules.
I mean, I'm a human being. There are some things I simply can't purchase. And going back to a general theme of this new season of our show, if you would like to give us $40,000 or $40,000 worth of cocaine, email us at htbbids@gmail.com.
Oh my God! Did we get added to the NSA watch
Well,
list
we got
along with the FBI?
We've added to a lot of.
We're on
watch lists
every
out there.
list at this
Oh,
point.
God,
I mean,
ATF has to be watching us right now.
I would be fine with 5,000, to be honest. At this point,
Just $5,000 worth of cocaine.
I didn't know not cocaine. I cannot build a streaming setup with cocaine. I mean, I could. That could be really interesting.
I promise,
I'd watch it.
local and federal government, we are not serious about having people send us cocaine.
you don't have to lie to them.
Hey,
They're the ones supplying it.
hey! We are not DC Comics.
Well, that wraps up the news. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The prestigious, nay life-changing award of cover of the week. This week we have a cover from Boom Studios, my favorite comic company to pronounce. This one is Alice Ever After #4, the Dan Panosian variant cover. This features a very cool artistic interpretation of what I assume is Alice from Alice in Wonderland.
I would assume so.
I would
It's
assume.
very creepy and
But it shows this very tormented Saw-like figure, who I
Yep.
assume is Alice, trapped in this kind of weird head cage suit of some kind of making. It looks like it was perhaps her father.
Alice meets Pinhead.
Yeah. But yeah, it looks like a very cool horror-themed version of Alice trapped in this figure, and it's not just the figure of Alice herself in this kind of horror structure, but also the kind of borders of the comic cover, which are very cool and well detailed.
I mean,
really,
Yeah, they're the creatures from Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah,
I see
exactly.
a Cheshire cat, the weird dodo bird thing.
yeah.
Absalom the worm.
And it
Yeah.
kind of meets this weird intersection of almost psychedelic, but also kind of like historic book
Bad
art.
trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's a bad trip.
it's a very bad trip. She's having a bad day, a real bad day. But yeah, it's just I don't know. There's something about this cover that really strikes me, and I think will really pop on the storefronts at your local comic book shops.
Or give you
Again,
nightmares.
please support your local comic book shops.
Please do. But yeah, this is a wonderful example of Dan Panosian's art. He's won the award a few times now, I think, throughout the show's history, and well deserved. So great job, Dan Panosian. You are the prestigious Nay Life Changed winner of the award of Cover of the Week.
Congratulations.
You can hear the enthusiasm in Nick's voice. For context, it's pretty late. We got started very late because of our food coming via bicycle.
If you are delivering for a food service, especially one that is, multi-chain that just picks up wherever, buy a fucking car.
Well, it's weird because it's not like we're in New York City where there's a house every block.
No.
We're in the suburbs of Columbus, Ohio, which is very urban sprawl, spread out, large roads. Like he had to ride that bike quite a ways to
Yeah,
get to us, and it wasn't like a small order.
Okay, here's the thing. Having a car should be a requirement for doing delivery service for food.
You
And
would
just-
think, especially in this area of the world.
Right.
My favorite part is the fact that he had multiple orders too.
He had multiple stops.
Oh my
according
god.
to the Uber Eats app. and like it doesn't tell you that your person is coming on a bicycle or anything until like he's actually moving. And you're like, "Wait, what? He's on a bicycle?"
I didn't even think that was an option.
Oh my god.
I didn't
I
know
didn't
you
see
could
it.
sign
If
up
I could
for-
choose, I would choose the person in the heated car.
I didn't know that you
I
could actually choose
Yeah.
to do Uber Eats in Central Ohio unless you had a car. I thought that was
Yeah.
like, they have 5 questions. Do you have a driver's license? Do you have a car? I thought that was like one of the requirements.
Yeah, it's very weird. Very weird. So, Uber Eats, get your shit together. Our food was cold because some poor kid on a bicycle rode it like 3
2
miles,
3
2 to 3 miles to our place, and also had stops along the way, which is just
Pizza time.
fucking ridiculous. Like, if you don't have any drivers, just tell me. I'll go get it myself.
Oh, that poor Peter Parker.
Yeah, it's brutal. Very brutal. All right, well, I think that's a great way to wrap up another mediocre edition of Hit the Books podcast.
He's very scared of me saying it. Mediocre!
Thank you all for listening and watching. Please, if you have a moment, please hit like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Rate us well elsewhere, and give us a nice review wherever you can. You can find us on YouTube, Stitcher, iTunes, Apple Music, Podbean, Spotify. We're everywhere, man. If there's somewhere you don't see us, let us know, and I'll get us on there. We should be doing some streaming here in the very near future. Obviously, we have Those Natural Ones
Those natural
Those
ones.
Natural ones.
coming up very soon. Tuesday
Tuesday
is
the
the
first
anticipated
episode.
planned episode. So definitely look out for that. We'll be advertising it on our social medias and our YouTube channel. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Again, if you want to reach out to the show, you can comment below the YouTube video. You can reach out to us at hitthebooksvids@gmail.com, at HTBvids on Twitter, / hitthebooks on Facebook. And I'm sure there's other avenues that I'm forgetting about, but it's late. Let's go home, boys.
Yes.
Time to lock this whole thing up.
All right. Well, thank you once again for listening and watching. We love you. We'll see you next week. I'll discuss that later. Your cell phone's causing feedback on the mic.
Oh, son of a bitch.
I finally figured it out.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, it's his cell phone, the radio signal interfering with the radio of the mic.
That's
Can't have your cell phone near it.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Okay.
Hook it to your belt, your microphone pack. That's why I hooked mine to the back of my pants. Oh, you don't have a clip. Why does your microphone have a clip?
You're the only one without a clip.
Where the fuck is
What
the
did
clip?
you do?
I don't know.
Emery!
It was like this when I found it.
Tell it to the judge.
Not my fault.
Well, that makes more sense because I was like, that's the whole reason why you have a clip is so you clip it to the back of your pants.
Right. It's like I was looking for a clip and there was no clip, so like I put it in my pocket because there was no clip.
Yeah, it's like all your parents are yelling at you. What are you doing? Tie your shoes. I don't have shoelaces. I'm sorry.
How am I supposed to tie the shoe?
How'd you
laces
lose
if I
your
don't have shoelaces?
shoelaces? They're tied to the shoe.
It's like-
I don't know.
It's like I need shoelaces to tie my shoelaces. We gotta solve step one.
Anyway,
All right, moving on. That'll be a nice
yeah,
cut.
yeah. Pardon this SNL bit that we just did.
Yeah.